Wait, what happened to our intro video? Wait. Well, that started off well, didn't it? Welcome, everyone, to our 67th episode of Red Hoop Talk, your native news and talk show produced by the Association on American Indian Affairs, the oldest nonprofit serving Indian country since 1922. If you don't remember who I am, maybe it's because I got more hairs cut here. I'm Shannon O'Loughlin. I'm a citizen of the Choctaw Nation of Oklahoma, and I am coming to you live from the original homelands of the Piscataway peoples. I'm going to be your host for this evening's adventure. If you're new to our show, Red Hoop Talk brings you important discussions about how we as an Indigenous peoples in this wonderful United States of ours stay close to culture and how we can indigenize our hearts and minds by talking to other folks from all around Indian country. We hope that we hear from you in our live chat. Oh, great. We've already got some folks out there saying hello. Tell us who you are, where you're coming from, and please feel free to interrupt us at any point in time during our evening to ask us questions. Let's see. We're coming to you live again from YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. So we're out there on all the internets. And we hope that you will go back to YouTube if you're not on that there already, and give us some comments and subscribe, because what we're hoping for is to one day monetize this puppy to help provide some program funding for the Association on American Indian Affairs, and maybe to get me a better haircut. I don't know. Let me know what you think of the new haircut. Let's see. I wanted to also let you all know that this will be our first show that we're going to release by audio podcast. Exciting. So please help us remember to describe everything in detail. This will not only be a video format, but you'll be able to listen to us on audio podcast soon. And we'll talk more about that tonight. But let's get started on our show. I want to bring on my guests for tonight, who are very special to me for many reasons. And together we're going to be bringing you stories of strength from our grandmothers, and to help us all remember the things that are most important and how we stay close to culture. So without further ado, I want to introduce someone you already know very well, Miss Colleen Medicine, who is the Association on American Indian Affairs Program Director. Wait, what happened? What's with the heart? Is it Valentine's Day?
We're just going with it. We're going to go with it.
Going with it. Colleen, how you doing?
I'm doing well tonight. Hello, everybody out there on the internet.
On the internet. And let's bring out also a new face, actually, with the Association on American Indian Affairs. And here with you on Red Hoop Talk, Ms. Kim Smith, who is a citizen of the Eastern Band of Cherokee and who is our Public Affairs and Outreach Coordinator. Kim, say hello.
Shio Nagada. Hello, everyone. I'm super excited to be here. Shannon, we can't keep asking for funds to get your hair cut. You're not going to have any hair left.
That's true. But, you know, to me, cutting my hair is a ritual and sacred experience. I don't know what you all think. You have beautiful long hair. You probably rarely ever cut. But there have been points in my 53 years where it is time to just get rid of shit.
Mhm.
And so when you see Shannon walking around without her big fuzzy hair, that means I got sick of something or somebody and have to just get rid of it all, right?
You cut yours, I dye mine.
Oh, do you dye yours?
Yes, I'm sporting purple right now, purple highlights. Like, it's been a thing. I've gone to 1,800 different salons, and one of my aunties does hair, and she was the one I went to last. And I was like, I'm gonna give up after you because I can't get purple in my hair. I've wanted purple for years. It came out orange. It came out spotted.
Oh no!
It was a trauma time for me. But my native auntie knew native hair, and shout out to Nikki Crisp. She's also our auntie who does the fry bread for the tribe too. But I went to her like, I felt so ashamed. It's like, I've never been here before, and I should have gone to you first. It came out gorgeous. So yeah, I feel you. When life gets stressed, I change my hair.
Yeah. Well, you've got to then watch our episode with Kansas Begay and reach out to her, because she is the blondest Navajo woman that I've ever met in my life. And she has or holds the secret to making our hair blonde. So reach out to Kansas Begay if you or anyone else out there is ready to become, a blonde, because they have more fun. Does anyone agree with that?
No.
Mm-mm.
Absolutely. Welcome everyone who's joining us. JD, an old friend. Hey, Joe Daniels. He's the treasurer of our board at the association. Hey, Joe, nice to have you on. So let me pause for a second and take a deep breath. I'd really like to give you all an opportunity to introduce yourselves properly and tell us where you're coming from. Whoever wants to start. Colleen?
Yeah. Well, Ani bonjour, everyone. Wapshka sinikwe indigenous cause segna and donjaba karbzaga yam montpi dada danjabam kak makana menacing mashiki and dodem Sioux tribe of Chippewa Indians and Dodabindagwas, Ojibwe Anishinaabe Quain Dow. So good evening, everyone. My English name is Colleen, and I'm from Northern Michigan, coming to you from almost the heart of Turtle Island, in the heart of Anishinaabe territory here in Northern Michigan.
Woohoo! Colleen, nice to see you back on Red Hoop Talk. Miss Kim, would you like to introduce yourself?
Shio Nagada, Gimiguela Shimidi, Dagudon Aya Ani Katua. Hello, everyone. My name is Kim Smith. I am from Cherokee. I'm a member of actually, we call ourselves Ani Katua, the people of the Katua Mound. So Cherokee is technically, it was a Creek name, what the Creek called us. So when settlers were here trying to figure out what to call us, that's what they stuck with. So I'm a part of the younger generation trying to bring back that Ani Katua name, and something that I see is happening across the country and across the world. I'm so excited to hear about what they're doing in New Zealand, trying to reclaim the country's name. But I'm from Cherokee, North Carolina. I've grown up on and off the res here. Technically, it's a boundary. We're one of the few that actually get to keep our mother towns, and it's not a reservation, but it feels like it sometimes. So, yeah, coming from the mountains of North Carolina.
And you started as the association's public affairs and outreach coordinator on August the 2nd. Was your first day.
I've been here a month and a half, and I've not been scared away yet. So we'll see how this goes.
Yeah, we scare away a lot of people here. It's just too much work.
But you only get the strong that are willing to stay, or the crazy. I don't know which one it is.
It has to be.
I'm the crazy.
Both. Yeah. Oh, Colleen's the crazy one.
Just kidding.
Are you sure it's not me? Yeah, it takes a lot of not just time and patience, but courage, because, working in Indian country, but also working in a nonprofit or even with your own nation is really hard work. It feels like you're constantly climbing uphill, right? Only every once in a while do you get a little reprieve like this where we can just hang out together and shoot the crap and, visit. I mean, um, that's what I remember from my family, years and years ago, is my grandmother was just the matriarch, and she would bring everyone together. Everyone would come and visit, sit around the coffee table, drinking coffee, smoking cigarettes, and just hanging out and talking about everybody else and everything going on out there with the chickens or whatever the hell was going on the, or somebody's dog got loose, or I lived in on this area called Wolf, Oklahoma. So it was in between Seminole and Ada, Oklahoma, and the oil that was pretty promising in those areas of Oklahoma kind of dried up, and so everything that was once there, went away, and it seemed to be a hangout for weird crimes to happen. So we would be hearing about all sorts of weird shit going on this way or that way. Somebody's head got decapitated, and just drunken people. It was just a fun place in rural Oklahoma. Do y'all have any stories or kind of remember your family hanging out when you were young?
So you pulled up cigarettes, and I laugh because that's one of the things that I remember so much. Back when Marlboro would do the little, if you cut out the little barcode on the packs of cigarettes, you could send them in for stuff. And I remember spending hours at my grandmother's house having to cut those things out and count them out so we could go and get the catalog and find something that we wanted. And like, as a child, I thought that was so cool. I hated the whole labor process, but like going through the magazine, I'm like, I want this and I want that. But as an adult, I was like, this is horrible. Like, we're sitting here, somebody has to smoke the cigarettes so that we can get the little barcode. But the Marlboro, like, that was a thing. And I remember that from my childhood. I don't know how many other little brown kids had to suffer through that, but that's a memory I hadn't thought of in quite some time.
Yeah, something about coffee and cigarettes. I can smell it. I can taste it in the air, and just feel what was happening in the family without even really paying attention to the words going on.
So my dad had the Marlboro coat. I remember being stuck in so many times where there was just secondhand smoke everywhere. Like it was just normal. Like everywhere I went, I feel like in the car, in the barns, like where I grew up, talking about my time on Mackinac Island growing up, everybody smoked. So there was just secondhand smoke everywhere. And now that I'm an adult, I'm like, geez.
Yeah. Did any of you all ever smoke cigarettes? No?
Oh yeah, I just quit.
Oh, really?
So terrible. I'm trying.
Well, I tell you, there's nothing worse than a reformed smoker. I'm a reformed smoker, and we're just terrible, man. You smell it or anything, and it's just like, ah. I even got a fight with this nice, pretty young woman walking down the road in Washington, D.C., and here's this really young girl. She must have been like 22. Just got off the train, same train I got off of, and she's smoking a cigarette and walking down the street. And I'm like, oh honey, I wish you wouldn't smoke. You're so beautiful. You're not gonna look so hot in 10 or 20 years. And she got so freaking pissed at me. Like I thought I was gonna have a fight on the street. It's like, I'm sorry, man. I used to do the same. I know it's hard, but it's gonna kill you. So good luck. Man.
I'm not that kind of recovering smoker. I'm like the kind where I'm like, if you get too close, I'll fail. So just don't be close to me.
Yeah.
I'm still not there yet.
I'm a visual person, and my mom was getting her nursing degree when I was elementary, middle school age. She was going for the next level or whatever. I was young. It wasn't that priority for me to know, but I was helping her study, and we had to see like her workbook, and it had a picture of a smoker's lung and a non-smoker's lung and the little capillaries, and it was talking about how they shrivel up when you have smoke inhalation. And for some reason that just traumatized me. So I look at a cigarette, I'm just like, no, I can visualize that happening inside me, and I just can't.
Yeah. Well, they brought in school. They actually brought like lungs. They compared lungs.
Yeah.
But you know, it was cool. It was cool at one time, I suppose. So we haven't been on the air for over a month. So Colleen, you all did the last show at the end of July, right?
Yep.
A lot has happened in the last month and a half. I think in our lives as well as in Indian country. You know, I've been like just buried with the NAGPRA regulation. So the Department of Interior in early August released a comprehensive revision of the Native American Graves Protection and Repatriation Act regulations. And I am this close to finishing our comments that we can share with tribes, like literally like 2 pages of cleanup I have to do out of 30. And then it's ready to send off to tribes to review and adopt as they see fit. Man, Department of Interior did a good job on some things, and we're still missing the boat on others. So it's going to be an interesting process to see how that comes out. But I think we're in a better place today than we've ever been to protect our rights to our cultural items and our ancestors. What do you all think? There's been some good press about it too.
Yeah. I'm really excited about the new draft regs because as a former tribal rep who was doing that work and implementing it at the tribal level, I could see a lot of the issues with NAGPRA. And so it's an exciting time for what's to come. You know, there's still over 116,000 ancestors waiting to come home. And so I'm just hoping this is something that can help, only help and enhance that process.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm excited for it because it's bringing the conversation back to a national level, and it's on the forefront again, and it's on the minds of more people, and it's educating more people. That's something I've seen a lot in our social media when we post about NAGPRA and the Harvard post that we're doing. A lot of people aren't as educated about the topic as I would have liked. So it's been another way to help bridge that gap in education and awareness. So I'm excited to see where it goes as well. I mean, it's been 30 years. That's a long time. And at least we've got a larger traction and movement right now.
Yeah. A lot has happened in the last 10 years. And part of that has to do with the management at the National NAGPRA program. There's actually people there now who are providing data or being transparent about information and building much better relationships with tribes and making museums do what they're supposed to be doing much better than what's been happening in the past. What else has been going on over the last month and a half? Anything that y'all still remember after all the work that we've done this week?
I will have to say, I have got to give a shout out to the young ladies that are on the Muskogee softball team that went undefeated and won the Little League World Series of softball. It was their first time in the series. It was a Cinderella story if you couldn't have a better one. But it was just nice to see a positive like that. That was great to give me a boost of hope and positivity when we're coming to work every day and talking about all these heavy issues. But yeah, to see those young ladies, deliver under pressure in a foreign situation and being able to go back home and representing their communities and having those 5 Indigenous nations represented was just a great thing. And I'm a huge softball fan, so to see that happen, that was really awesome.
That's right. I know you could kick my ass on a softball field there, Kim.
It's in my blood. I've done it since I could. Actually, before I was even eligible to play, my mom lied and said I was a year older so I could get out there 1 year sooner. I think it was for her to get me out of the house and out of her hair, but I fell in love, and it's just an awesome way to reconnect with other Indigenous women and playing co-ed ball. It's cool.
Oh, you got to show us your shirt. What does your shirt say?
Indigenous every damn day.
Love it. Love it.
So, yeah. Colleen, do you think this would be a good point to segue into getting her to open the package?
I told her that she had to open the package.
So Colleen and I have been a little bit sneaky behind Shannon's back. And Shannon has been just stressed about it. But one of the really cool things that happened over the break was Shannon reached her 4-year work anniversary with the association. And so one of the things that Colleen and I wanted to do was give her a little congratulations gift and thank you gift for not going crazy and running away and continuing to steer us forward and just taking that charge on. So Colleen, do you want to say anything to Shannon before we make her open it?
Sure. Yeah. So I, for those of you who might not know, I met Shannon many years ago when I was just attending the association's repatriation conference. And I always thought she was such a badass. I just thought she was so cool. She was like just so well-informed, and she spoke so beautifully about these issues, so passionate. And so when I was able to start working for the association, it was just fit. Shannon and I, we really, we've become, we work together really well and work-wise, and we've also have a friendship. And I love that about the association. I think our staff here is really, because we're just small, but we are mighty. I want to say that. We're just 3 of us, but we are mighty. And I think we have such a good relationship. And Shannon's taken an organization like the association and propelled it forward. And I think you'll see that. And you see that already in all the work that we're doing. But as we launch into next year, into our 100th anniversary, you'll see how much work Shannon has done to really build this organization up, and some of which she did solely by herself. So we're happy we have a little bit of staff now, but thank you, Shannon, for all you do for the association, for Indian country, and all that you continue to do.
Thank you. I'm trying not to let any of this affect me emotionally. So I'm trying to stay objectively distant from and that's not good TV. So I'm going to,
Well, that's why we did it this way. We wanted to bombard you with having to show your emotions. And for everyone watching, it was extremely stressful for me because I sent this FedEx and it was supposed to arrive yesterday, and I kept getting messages saying delayed and delayed. I was getting so frustrated. I was about to have to go postal on them. It's like, I chose FedEx to pay the premium price to get it there.
All right, I'm going to try to open this. I don't have a letter opener or anything. I'm going to use my brute strength. All right, what did they get me, you guys? It didn't explode.
I would look at it before you stick your hand in it, not.
We're from the South. Oh, cool! I got a shirt. Well, this is cool. Now we all can so should we do all our Red Hoop Talks wearing our Indigenous Every Damn Day shirt? Thank you.
Well, that was the goal, but Colleen's got lost in translation somewhere. So hers is out floating in FedEx world somewhere. But yeah, that was the thought. Yeah. Wait till you read the inside.
Yeah, I opened it up and I went. It says, "Happy work anniversary. Now, if you could get back to work, that would be great." You mean to tell me you like working here? Happy anniversary. And there's a whole bunch of little memes on the front. And then inside, I'm sure all of our listeners and watchers are going to like this. It says, "You're a fantastic boss. Great, really great, very special, really terrific. Other bosses, losers. Total disasters. Believe me, ask anyone." And that's all being said by a little cartoon Trump. And I can't do the Trump thing. Great, really great, very special. Yeah, I can't do it. If Roy was here, I don't know if you all remember Roy. Does everyone remember Roy, who used to be our fabulous co-host? He would have been able to do a Trump. Thank you all. This is wonderful. Thank you.
You're welcome. Congratulations. But at least for the foreseeable future, we just need to keep doing this. Do not have any plans to leave.
Yes, yes. I got you.
You shirts if that will keep you stay.
Am I going somewhere? Does someone think I'm going somewhere?
No. We just
Nobody wants me.
You're staying here.
This is where I'm at. Thank you all.
Nobody is going anywhere.
Yeah, nobody really. Literally, you all, we are going to have to get together and sign a contract in blood because none of us are going anywhere. I'm knocking on wood. Okay. Well, let's get to the fun stuff and start talking about our grandmas. And I don't know about you all, but I know if it wasn't for my grandmother, I don't think I would still be here today. And we can get into it, but she was absolutely vital to my success and for me having any direction in my life. Just to quickly summarize, what about y'all?
So for me, I have a mantra. It's kind of getting popular now, but my ancestors' wildest dreams. I'm my ancestors' wildest dreams. And so I live with that thought process going forward each day. And I look at the world and what I'm doing and saying, okay, well, when I die and I go to meet my ancestors, is what I have done going to be enough for them to be happy? So when I go and meet my grandmother and my great-grandmother on the other side, are they going to be happy with my work? So trying to live up to them, they're my motivation for everything. Like the women in my family have been badass, incredible women, and I know that their blood runs through my veins. So I get up every morning and I'm willing to tackle anything merely because of the stories that I've been told about my grandmother and my great-grandmother and my mother and witnessing some of them.
It's beautiful. Well, for me, I have a little bit of a different story. So I primarily grew up with my non-native grandma, who was very special to me. And so I want to acknowledge her. Basically, every good quality I have, I learned at a young age from her. She's incredible. But I was really missing that that grandma figure in my life. On my native side, my grandma passed away when I was very young, and so I didn't really have a chance to know her. And so the grandma that I'm going to talk about tonight, I call her my bonus grandma. She's someone special that came into my life about 11 years ago, and she's been such a bright light in my life and someone who really taught me a lot of the things that grandmas would teach us. And so while she's not my grandma by blood, she is my bonus grandma. So pretty excited to share a little bit about her tonight.
Well, why don't we start there, Colleen? I want to hear about your bonus grandma. You mind?
Yeah. Well, I have my tissue ready in case I cry.
I forgot. Oh crap! I forgot.
Oh my gosh, I already know. So I bought. So let me back up. So I went off to school. When I got done with my undergrad, I moved back up to Bawaching, Sault Ste. Marie in northern Michigan, and I ended up buying this house on the reservation. My tribe was selling this house at the time, and my neighbor was Grandma Edie. And when I first moved in, everyone was like, there was people that were like, oh, be worried about grandma, or like people would say, oh, she's so great, you'll have to meet her. And so I was like scared, I was like, I don't know, like and I knew that I wanted to bring her tobacco, and I wanted to ask her about, I had heard all these wonderful things about her making. She makes beautiful ribbon skirts and dance regalia, and she makes all these wonderful different items, shirts, skirts, dresses, all these things. And I had heard about that, and so I wanted to introduce myself, and I wanted to ask her about maybe making me an outfit. But I was so scared, so I didn't go over there anytime soon. It was a long time before I had the courage to go over there. And and so I ended up just meeting her, I think, at a community event, and she said, oh yeah, come on over, and she seemed so nice. And so I went over there, and over time we had built this bond. But mostly at that time I was super young, and I was really mixed up in like who I wanted to be, how I wanted to present myself to the world. I hadn't had that figure in my life, like a strong woman who was Native, to really guide me. And so a lot of our interactions in the beginning was mostly her like telling me why I was wrong about and saying, this is what you should be doing, knock it off, don't do that. And so over time she adopted her sister's granddaughter, Alasia, and Alasia became like my little sister. And so she called her Grandma Edie. And so then I just started calling her Grandma Edie, and it's been 11 years, and she's just been my grandma ever since. So, she's this fierce grandma who puts a lot of love in her spirit into making regalia and skirts and ribbon shirts. And she also spends a lot of time making burial clothing for those of in our community who pass on. She's helped cook at feasts. I mean, she's been part of so many things over the years. And so anyway, well, I'll just share this. And I called her earlier in the week to ask her if it was okay if I shared her picture and possibly some pictures of some of her work. And I was like, I know she's gonna give me it's not just going to be a conversation about Red Hoop Talk. I know she's going to give me advice, and she's going to talk to me, and she's going to tell me some things that I don't want to hear, but that I need to hear. And sure enough, she took the time to yell at me about what I post on social media and how I'm presenting myself and all the things. And then when I asked her about Red Hoop Talk, she said, are you going to tell everyone I'm the mean grandma? And I said, of course not. And I told her how much I appreciated that advice, because I never had that support, and I never had someone who would take the time to really explain to me in a way that included spirituality and that had all this love and all this fierceness behind it. But because she cared so much about what I was going to do in this life, and she didn't have to love me, she just chooses to. And so it's so beautiful for me to finally have that person in my life. So I'm thankful, and I didn't cry, so this is good.
The goal is for someone to cry tonight at a point in time. Did you have any pictures that you wanted to share, or did you want to do that later?
Yeah, no, I can share. Just bear with me. Okay, so I want to make sure I do this right. So
yeah, do it wrong. I already screwed up the intro, and
Oh yeah. Okay, hold on.
And just remember, this is also going to be an audio podcast, so we have to do this. You have to describe the pictures that you're going to show.
Okay, that's good to know.
Right, Colleen is getting the pictures ready.
I feel like we need to do another countdown, Colleen.
Please do it because
I'll do it. We got to. Why not?
Okay.
You have one?
Oh,
wait,
you already put it up there.
Sorry, I panicked. I'm trying to get it to go
for more time.
Is it full screen yet? Gosh.
No, it just disappeared.
Do you want me to do the countdown until we figure it out?
Oh, no,
wait, is it there now?
There we go.
Woohoo! Okay. So I just pulled some pictures from my grandma's Facebook today and dropped them into this little PowerPoint. So these are all her
with
Facebook. Yeah.
I was about to say, can I just pause and say, like, my mom still struggles with the internet, and your grandma is on here with a fully functioning and nice quality.
Her daughter Nicole does a lot of her Facebook interaction on her behalf.
You could have just lied and said, yeah, my grandma's awesome.
She plays her little games on the computer. She loves playing her little slot games. All right, so this is a skirt. Some of these are close up and some of them I put farther away so you could really see. So I always tell everybody that my grandma makes the best ribbon skirts in all the lands, and nobody has ever tried to disagree with me. And one thing you'll notice about her ribbon work at the bottom is that she does her style of ribbon work. You can tell she does that on almost everything, every skirt she makes, and you can just tell her work. So let's go and look at some more. I love this one. It's a beautiful, what they call that, a black ground. I'm trying to describe the skirts for the podcast.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
It's just a lot of beautiful colors. This one reminds me of the sunset.
Oh yeah. And it's so like she's using like the shiniest ribbon. It is almost like metallic looking. And some of these colors, the kind of purplish, red, orange, yellow, it's really awesome. So do they have, tell folks a little bit about ribbon skirts if you know.
Yeah, I think that at least for us in Anishinaabe territory, our people use ribbon skirts, our women typically, and probably those who identify as women. And there's a lot of really powerful teachings behind that, and some of them I don't know all of them, but what I've been taught about it is that it really is. Well, actually, I'll tell you what Grandma Edie told me about it, because that's who I learned this teaching from. And she talked about how the ribbon skirt sits at your waist, which is where women bring life. And it goes all the way down your legs and it connects you to the ground. And that's just that connection of like the life force from Mother Earth and back up to women, and then from us down to Mother Earth. And so she always talked about how the skirt, she's pretty adamant about how the length of your skirt should be pretty long. And I know there's lots of different styles of ribbon skirts now, but she's pretty old school in how she creates ribbon skirts. She makes them longer because they should be, to form that connection to the earth. So that's just a little bit that I can share at this time, but I'm sure that there's tons more and other teachings, but that's what I've learned.
Beautiful.
All right, let's check out some more.
Ooh.
Featuring Grandma's older couch also, which ironically ended up at my house at some point. So this couch was hers and then it was mine. I have no idea where it's at now.
Someone else has it somewhere.
Yeah.
Let us know in the chat if you have this couch.
If you have grandma's old couch.
Grandma's old couch. Oh,
That reminded me of the song that was like, what was it? It was something about your roommate's bed from college or something. It's like, it just keeps going on and on. It'll survive anything.
That could be a good 49 song.
I have a skirt in this fabric, that black and pink fabric. It's not the exact same ribbon work as the one that's pictured here, but I have one that's pretty close to that one.
And then the blue and the red, the feathers are I really like that. This is nice. So does your does your grandma do requests?
So she's still sewing, but just pretty slow nowadays. She's had a lot of trouble with her eyes and her health lately, but she was sewing yesterday, and it's her birthday week. So she was feeling pretty perky when I talked to her, and she was telling me about how she was going to sew. So typically, if you ever are looking for a request, you would go through her daughter, Nicole. Also, I could help.
Let's just say, Colleen, you're supposed to give us the hookup. Like,
Yeah.
I could give you two the hookup for sure. This is a ribbon shirt, the back of a ribbon shirt that she made, so you can see the cool applique, the ribbon.
I really like it on the black. I like it gives me Ninja Turtle vibes with the green.
Oh yeah.
So my youngest one's a huge Ninja Turtle fan, so I think I'm conditioned to see when I see green to think Ninja Turtles.
I love that. These were feast bags that Grandma made as an order that I commissioned for the language and cultural department when I was working there. And these were given out at our Ogichida camp, which is our young women's camp. So they learned all about being prepared for ceremony, having your feast bundle ready and your feast bag ready. And to also, that helps protect the environment and not being wasteful. And so now they all have these beautiful feast bags to carry their feast supplies in when they attend ceremonies.
Wow.
And she did the ribbon work just how she does it on her skirts, which is so cool. This is featuring her front porch on the res.
Yeah, you got one kind of wood on the bottom and another kind of wood on the rails. Those are beautiful. Like, so are the ones that you're showing us, are they for sale or are these already kind of out to people?
These are some of her older work, right? These are not for sale. Some of this is years ago. This is a little outfit she made for like a young girl. She had the shawl and the dress to go with it.
Wow.
Is that a fancy dance?
Yeah.
So for all you powwow people listening, get in touch with Colleen so you can get your orders in. About to hit the powwow trail again, COVID allowing.
Ooh, that is awesome. So this skirt, black skirt with roses and flowers, green and red. These are all my favorite colors. And
this skirt in particular is one of my very favorites. And my best friend Lori has this skirt. Shout out to Lori who got to buy this skirt before I saw it.
I'm coming after you, Lori.
So I always would tell Grandma, I'm like, tell me first. Like, I want first dibs. She's like, other people should get skirts, like, because I have 29 ribbon skirts, and I think 26 out of, or 27 out of the 29 are Grandma's skirts.
Wow. You can only wear one at a time, Colleen. These are beautiful. So do you actually have a picture of your grandma?
Not in this PowerPoint, no. I did see one picture on her Facebook where she was holding up a ribbon skirt, like showing it.
Mm-hmm.
But the lighting was kind of rude in the picture, and I didn't want to do that to her because she deserves a nice picture. So I didn't put her in here.
Well, this is beautiful work.
Would you like me to share the one that we used in the advertisements, Colleen?
Yeah, that would be great. This purple skirt here was the most beautiful skirt that she ever made, in my opinion. And it was my skirt, but I ended up gifting it away to another auntie who now has it in her collection. It's so beautiful. And I think I just have this last one, also featuring Grandma's couch.
All right, we want more about Grandma's couches. Give us a shout out in the chat.
All right. I stopped sharing, but
So this is her grandmother. Can you guys see it?
Yes.
Okay. I just pulled up a PNG of it. So that's Colleen's grandmother.
she's so beautiful.
And tell us what you call her again, Colleen.
Grandma Edie.
Grandma Edie. We're sending you good thoughts, Grandma Edie. Thank you for letting us borrow Colleen.
No, she practically kicked me out when I was moving. No, I'm just kidding. I went to say bye to her my last day there because, like I said, we were neighbors, and she said, "I'm gonna miss having you right there." And I was like, "Oh, I gotta go. I can't." Like, I cried for like 20 miles down the road because I was like, "Oh no, I really am gonna miss her." But it just is what it is. But now I get to talk to her on the phone, so we still get to visit.
That's good. That's good. All right, Kim, you're next.
Well, I will say, Colleen, treasure those moments because my grandmother and my great grandmother are both passed. So I don't get to have those wonderful experiences as an adult with them. So enjoy them, and I will live vicariously through you while you're enjoying your time with her. The woman that I wanted to talk about tonight, she's actually my great grandmother, and I only got a couple of years with her on this earth. But I relish in all the stories that I am constantly being told about her, not just from family, but from pretty much anyone in the community, because she was such a pillar in the Cherokee community. And you can almost look at anything in our community and trace it back to something that she or her sisters did. So the women in my family are activists, they're advocates, they're passionate and selfless givers. Like they truly live in this notion that we all do better when we're all doing it together instead of individually. And so she was, she passed away in 91, but she was the matriarch, and that extended generations. Like I still look back and see the stories about how she was as an individual, and that playing out in my grandmother and in my mom. And I'm now seeing some of those traits in my daughter. So even without her being here, I can still see pieces of her reverberating out through those ties and that connection. So like I said, she was a pillar. She was a mother. I mean, at 55, she went and got her associate's degree. Like it didn't matter to her anything about what social norms were told to her. Like if she wanted to do something, she was going to do it. And I love that. And I try to channel that as much as possible when I'm feeling like I can't accomplish something. Well, this lady was in the 40s and 50s and in a time when women were not allowed to do anything without the consent of a man or the signature of a man. And she owned a business. And she was going to DC to champion for her people. And it was just something I look to for those moments of strength when I need it, when I'm being denied something or when I'm being presented an obstacle. Like, I look back and say, well, if she can do it in that time and overcome everything that she was being faced with, then I really can't complain. Like, I just see her and think, okay, this is crab cakes for her. This is easy. But yeah, one of the things that I love the most, when I came out of undergrad, I went back home to work for my people. And my first job was with our low-income housing nonprofit. And when I arrived, we were ramping up for our 50th anniversary as an association or as an organization providing housing to Cherokee people. And so I got to go through the archives and was looking through that work. And lo and behold, there was my great-grandmother's name. So the work that she did to get that organization set up gave me my first job. So even though I might be the one to cry, oh gosh, I didn't want it to be me. No, but the fact that like what she did is still helping generations later. Like, I had my first job to take care of my first kid because she committed herself to the community. I know that wasn't the intention. I know she didn't set out to say, I'm going to have a job for my family, but it was to take our community from living with tar paper walls to decent housing. And when she saw a problem in the community, she just found a solution for it. Like, we have our fall festival each year now, and that's our largest gathering of us to come together and celebrate our community and our culture and our people. And she funded it for so many years out of her own pocket because she knew our community needed this. Our community needed a source of gathering and celebration. And so she did what she felt needed to be done to keep that going. And again, I look at that and think, that's the blood that runs through my veins. Like, I get excited to walk out and be Indigenous every damn day because that's what I get to do. And I get to know I'm related to her. And so I got 4 years, but the stories, they just keep coming. I found out that she was involved with getting the very first ambulance in Cherokee. And so when I had my accident in December, it was just another moment of revelation to think the services that I'm receiving today started because of her work in the community. So it's another, she keeps giving in the grandma sense without even being here. So it's an incredible person that I get to be because of her. And there's so many other things. I will share my picture with you. I don't get to have many because, of course, I was 4 when she was passed. So I don't get to have those adult wonderful moments. I wished that I get to see her smile when she knew, when she got to learn that I was joining the association. So this is my grandmother, or my great-grandmother, Ruth Littlejohn. She was actually a Sneed, and her uncle is in the Library of Congress for fiddle playing. So she taught my grandmother how to play the piano, and my grandmother taught me how to play the piano on the same piano she played on. So there's still so many layers of connection I have with her. But this picture was actually a picture in Arizona or New Mexico paper. So in the 70s, she was invited to attend a national meeting on Indigenous affairs. And it was at that conference that they started the National American Indian Women's Association. And so this is the article clipping of her being a part of that whole movement and taking on such a huge task for Indian country and giving Indigenous women a platform at the national level. And so she stayed with that organization till her dying day. She only missed one national conference, and that was the year that she passed away. And like she's just this idol for me, this icon of what it means to be an Indigenous woman. And not to mention, she raised a family of multiple children while doing all these things. Like, I don't know when she slept. I don't know how she did everything. Like, I have 2 children. I don't know how my family did this. Like, my mom every generation has had at least 4 children. And I'm over here calling my mom and complaining like, it's just so hard. She's got softball and cello and this and that. And I just pause for a second and think, this is what they did without cell phones, without access to vehicles to take them at their leisure. Like, this was all just so much harder than I have it, but I have it easier because of the work that they did. So that's my grandmother. I don't want to keep talking about myself. But yeah, that's the matriarch of my family.
Can you share her name? I don't think you shared her name. Did you? Yeah. Oh, yes, you did, Little John.
Yeah, her name's Mildred Ruth Sneed Littlejohn.
That's right.
But yeah, everybody knows her as Ruth. She's this incredible lady. I wished I could have had more in-person time with her. I hate the fact that I was 4 because you don't really remember those memories. Like, my mom told me about being around her and all those opportunities, but I don't remember them personally.
Well, clearly she's still with you, right? Clearly she's still with you. And that's what's, I think, the work that we do every day, why I keep getting up in the morning. It's because of them, it's those that came before us that, so my grandmother was born August 25th, 1924. And when I talk about her, sometimes I talk about, the path of the Association on American Indian Affairs, all those eras of federal Indian law and policy. And I think about my grandmother traveling during those eras in time, the time when it was all about assimilation and allotment. And my grandmother was born into a family. Her mother went to boarding school. So every time my grandmother would walk into the adults having a conversation, speaking in Choctaw, all the adults would shut up. They wouldn't let any of the children hear the language because of what happened to them in boarding school. And I think about the stories that my grandmother told me of how they survived growing up. And different periods of time where the government would come out and kill all the cows, or people would steal their stuff, would try to take over parts of their land. That she and her brothers would go catch rabbits and skin them and try to sell them to get, candy or food or something fun from the store. And that they left Oklahoma during, the Dust Bowl and everything to go be sharecroppers in Arizona and into Central California. And to think about what her life was like growing up. And not only that, but also the violence that she had to endure as an Indigenous woman, and hearing those stories. Sometimes my grandmother would just get, coffee and cigarettes, right, around the table, and she would tell me those stories of what she did to survive, what she had to do to survive. And some of those stories included her, digging in garbage cans to try to find food when she was a teenager, when they were living, as sharecroppers. And she would say all of that and tell me all of those stories that are heart-wrenching. And she'd look at me in the eye. And she did this more than once, and she'd get me every time. She'd look me in the eye and said, I did all of this so that you could be here. And to me, that is the ultimate strength of our grandmothers and our ancestors. I don't think we have to do more than think about that to motivate us out of any kind of shit we're in. there's something that's very special about, I hate to say Native American values or indigenous values. I hate to make it generic like that, but there is something special about the way indigenous peoples think about life. And that being accountable and being responsible is not a bad thing. In Western culture, it's like, people are always trying to get away from their responsibilities. They're trying not to be accountable for stuff. I mean, look at our justice system. Our justice system is not about justice. It's about trying to tell people you're not guilty when you are, right? But indigenous values is about being accountable and responsible for, those that have come before us and those that are going to come after us. And my grandmother on a daily basis taught me that. And one thing, I'm going to show you some pictures while I'm talking about this, if I can. So for those of you who are listening on audio, this is going to be my grandma, and you can't see her unless you go to YouTube and see her. So this is Roseanne, and what I did to give back to her is, here's the chickens. Her and her mother, Lottie, in Oklahoma with all the chickens. What I did to give back to my grandmother is go to school. So I went to school like she told me to do. Here's with her. She was about 55 years old getting her associate's degree at Seminole Junior College right there in Oklahoma. Is I would bring her back the things that I learned from college about boarding schools, about Indian education and why it was so fucked up, right? About the laws, about those horrible Supreme Court cases that kept taking away our sovereignty one after the other, right? Criminal jurisdiction and what the allotment policy was, and relocation, termination, and all those things. And she would, this is going to show you what a backwoods group of people we were. Here's, I think we were in Lawton, Oklahoma, right there, with some relatives. That's my Uncle Johnny in the middle, the young one in the middle with his mom, my grandmother. And it gave her peace because finally she understood why her mother was so angry, and why people were so screwed up in their thoughts about who she was by the way she looked. Something about me going to school and being able to share those stories with her gave her peace that she wasn't able to find in other times in her life. By the way, I have those pants she's wearing right there, those red polka dotted pants. I still have those. It's a red polka dotted polyester suit from like the late 60s, early 70s. And I can still wear that thing. Oh, and by the way, these are her glasses too. I got the, so I'm all about grandma today. Okay. I'm gonna, let's see, stop this sharing, but she really has given me the strength and continues to give me the strength to keep going. And, I don't know. I could keep talking. Let me tell you a funny story, and then we'll see where this takes us. My grandmother, she would walk into a room and she just had a presence. Everyone could feel her come into a room right before you saw her. And she just looked like, she would come to my classes later on in life. And come to my classes and just sit there like a nice little old lady, just so nice and peaceful. And then afterwards, after a class or whatever, some friends, girlfriends or what would gather around. And I think there was something happening with a song or something, and it was David Bowie. And David Bowie song. And she's like, oh, that David Bowie, he's really hung. I saw him in some kind of sex movie. It's like, what? So like, she had such a body sense of humor. She would go around and in a store and like fill up mannequins. I mean, she would just do things to make you uncomfortable.
Yes, I love it.
That's my hashtag goals in life. I want to be that when I'm older.
Exactly. I am waiting to get old enough to do that. I don't think I've met it yet. Every once in a while I try, and my son looks at me like, nope, I'm not going to take that from you yet. But those are the best kind of grandmas, the ones that will just, go out of their way to embarrass you, or do something for a quick laugh. And then that little glint in their eye comes, and the little, corner of their mouth will smile. Yeah, that was my grandmother, and I'm doing my best to emulate her in all that I do.
So Shannon, I have to ask, I see it happening in my family. So I got to grow up for a extensive period with my grandmother, which is my great grandmother's daughter. We both of them died early from ovarian cancer, and my mom had to get a hysterectomy. So this is something that flows through the family. So I haven't gotten to see a lot of long-term, like my grandmother in her elder years. We all have babies young in Indian country. So she was taken quite young, but I've seen some of the mannerisms and the quirkiness of my grandmother in my mother. And some of those like little jokes. My grandmother was a cigarette smoking, coffee drinking little old lady. And towards the end, she would forget where she would put her coffee cup down. So if you'd go visit her, there'd be like 6 full cups of warm coffee because she'd keep forgetting where she set it down. And so I've noticed my mom starting to do that. And so I'm seeing little bits of my grandmother and my mom, which is awesome because my kids are getting that same kind of opportunity to have that native grandma that I got to have. So have you noticed yourself having any of those little nuances from your grandmother? Have you picked up any of those traits or characteristics?
I do fill up mannequins in the store. In fact, I undressed a mannequin the other day at Kohl's because she was wearing a dress I wanted. And I made other people help me, like people who are in line to shop, so I there I am. I don't think I'm old enough to be doing that yet, but I was like, come over here and help me. We got to take her arms off. And it worked. I got the dress. It was on sale. So yes, I do see some of those mannerisms. A funny thing that my grandma did that reminded me with the 6 cup of coffee, around the house. My grandmother, as she got older, she had problems with her lungs because being a sharecropper in Arizona, there's this thing in the dust that in Arizona that can really screw up your lungs. So she had that problem. And so she had to be on oxygen for a few years of the last of her life. And she still smoked cigarettes.
Yep.
So she would be smoking cigarettes and little blue flames. She had that, oxygen thing up her nose, and the little blue flames would come out of her nose while she's smoking cigarettes. It's like, you're about to blow up, Grandma. Come on. But yeah, grandmas, they are the best thing in the world. And if you don't have a grandma, find someone else's and borrow them, right, Colleen? They're just so important. Our parents can give us a lot of things, but there's something about a grandma that you just can't get anywhere else.
I remember being little and going to my grandmother's house. And as a kid, I thought it was awesome because every time we left, we would be walking out the door. Mom would be like the 5th time saying goodbye before we actually get outside. And then, of course, the goodbyes would happen hanging around the car it's an hour before we actually leave. But as we were walking out the door, my grandmother would just be handing me presents. she would give me bags and be like, go into the kitchen and get whatever you want. And then she'd come out with all these little knickknacks she had found over the week or 2 weeks it's been since we met. And she would like,
here. Mine did the same thing. They would just go, whatever it was. It's like, here, oh, I've got this lipstick here. Have
yes,
this.
Yes.
What is that?
All the time. And now my mom's doing it to my girls when we're leaving her house. I'm like, no, Mom, I don't want that in my car, because then it'll just go sit in my living room, or I'll have to step on it when I'm going down the hallway. Like, I don't want all this stuff. And so it's just a cycle. And I know when my kids have kids, I'm going to do the exact same thing. And it's just this a whole thing, like the evolution of generations. It just keeps going. It's that invisible thread. And I just see it happening.
Yeah. It's the giveaway.
I was just thinking of a funny story about, I was trying to remember, do I have any funny stories about my grandma? So I do, and it's also a smoking story. So Grandma Edie, and also shout out to her real family, who has always been so accepting of me and always let me call her Grandma. So Grandma was a heavy smoker since the time I met her. And so we would smoke cigarettes together. We would have coffee and cigarettes together. That was our thing. And we would visit. And then over time, Grandma developed COPD. And so she was supposed to be stopping smoking. But people would always go and visit her. And so she'd have it, she'd bum cigarettes here and there or whatever. But her daughters like really wanted her to stop smoking. And so one day she called me at work, which is like, I was like nervous that something was wrong. And she was like, hey, are you going to the store after work? And I was like, what do you need? And she was like, I was just wondering if you could give me cigarettes. And I don't know why, but I didn't just pick her up one pack. Like, I don't know why, but in my mind, I was like, if Grandma wants something, Grandma is going to get it. And so I ended up like buying her like 4 packs of cigarettes, not even thinking anything of it. And so I went over there and dropped them off, and we had a couple smokes together. And then the next day, her daughter, Nikki, messaged me and was like, was it you that bought Grandma cigarettes? And I was like devastated. I was like, oh no, I can't lie, because that's one thing that Grandma always, my real grandma and Grandma Edie always taught me, you don't lie. So I couldn't lie about it. I was like, yeah. And then she's like, how many packs? And I was like, 2, actually 4. And she was like, stop doing that. So anyway, when the next time I went over there, I'm like, you got me in trouble. And she was like, I tried to hide them. She's like, she found them. She looked for them. So anyway, she was getting me into trouble. But when you were both talking about your grandmas, I started thinking about the last 11 years with Grandma Edie. And I was thinking about, there were so many times in my life that like nobody showed up for me but her in different ways. Like when I went out to do some ceremony for the first time and I was scared, she was the one who would cook for me when I came back. And when I went out just a couple of years ago last year, I went to do a ceremony I was scared for, and I stopped by her house and I offered her tobacco and asked her to think about me. And she's always been like that, like ceremony person for me, that person that I know I can talk to about it. And she also has like 40 years of sobriety, which is super cool. And she's like both of your grandmas, she went through basically hell and back to figure it out, raising children and going through all the things that, our grandmothers went through with, different indignities and abuses and stuff. And just this week when I called her, I was telling her about something that recently happened in my life, and I was like really upset about it. And she was like just really making me feel a lot better. And she was like, well, we're just chipping away at it. Like we've all been through terrible things and we're all just trying to figure it out. She was like, quit being so damn hard on yourself. And I really needed to hear that. And so you've both inspired me to like really understand how lucky I am to have her in my life. And just like making that more of a priority and knowing that, she's been so special to me. And I'm so happy that I can still spend time with her. And I just wanted to also say, both of your grandmas sound like amazing women. And I can see everything you talked about, the qualities of your grandmothers. I can see those qualities in both of you. And I didn't cry, but I did tear up several times when both of you were talking, especially first off when Kim, you said, I wish I could have saw her face when she knew I, started working for the association. I was like, okay, here it comes. Here it comes.
Shut up, Colleen. You're going to make it come back.
And then Shannon, when you were saying that, like, you went to school for your grandma and it helped her heal. And I was like, oh, I'm going to cry. But I didn't. I think it's because I've cried so much in the last month. I don't have any tears left. But I also, it made me think about how lucky I am to have a grandma and someone that would care for me spiritually too. She's done a lot for me in that way and taught me a lot, given me a lot of teachings. She's given me a lot of kicks in the butt. And I really, over the last 10 years is when I've done the majority of my healing, understanding what intergenerational trauma looked like in my family and deciding who I was going to be, in this life. And she's a big part of that. So I just wanted to say that. Thanks.
Yeah, I think we all have done pretty good about not crying and getting a little, too caught up. We've all done very good. So I'm proud of all y'all. And myself.
This is what red hoops are like. Like, I don't know if I want to play anymore. It's this emotional every time. I don't know if I want to play.
No, red hoops aren't always emotional. It depends who our guests are, and I'm not sure. We've never figured out when our next show is, have we?
October 22nd. It's
when?
that Friday, October 22nd.
Well, that's a long ways off. October 22nd. We may have to pop one in there. We'll bring a friend of ours or something. And what's the October 22nd show about? Do we know?
So that's the one with the fashion show. So the Eastern Band of Cherokee Indians, they have a annual fashion show where anyone from the community, from a child to an adult or an elder even, who is interested in creating some kind of art that incorporates culture from the fabric to the design of the outfit that the model will be wearing. It's a really cool program. It's a wonderful way that those kids are learning to be close to culture. And it's about rebuilding that passion to be proud to be Indigenous, and what they're wearing gives them strength to say, I'm Indigenous and my clothes finally represent me. So that's we're going to have somebody from the program, from the Sequoia Fund, who hosts it, coming on the show and talking about the whole process. And we hope to have a little teaser from their show. They're actually recording it because of COVID. It won't be live, which I'm bummed about. I've participated almost every year in the fashion show personally with my kids, but she's going to be coming on and talking about the process, and hopefully we can get some video from their recording and do a little sneak peek before it goes live on the following day. So
that's awesome. That's awesome. Talking about sneak peeks. There was a sneak peek this week we did. Yes. We want to talk about that?
I was like, what did we do? You've got us working so hard, Shannon. I was like, what did we do this week? Oh, Lord.
We revealed the custom, gosh, what am I saying? The conference T-shirt for this year's 7th annual repatriation conference, featuring our Everything Back T-shirt.
There it is. There it is. So we got a new logo for the repatriation conference that was made by Christian Bigwater. And with the help of
Jared Yazzie and the OXDX team.
Yes. We got this wonderful shirt. And We want to make sure everyone knows that they can apply for a scholarship to attend the repatriation conference, which is November 3rd, 10th, and 17th. But then there's other events that are happening over that 3 weeks. You can apply for a scholarship. And once you receive your scholarship, you can donate $25 to get this wonderful shirt that shows hashtag everything back, sacred items back, sovereignty back, ancestors back, ceremony back, language back, children back, culture back, land back, everything back. That's our motto for this upcoming year and the work that we're going to be doing. You can get the shirt through the registration form at our conference. You can register for the conference. You can be a vendor or exhibitor at the conference. You can sponsor the conference, or you could just buy the shirt.
I mean, I'm excited about it. Coming on to the association team at this time and getting to be a part of the Everything Back movement it's so exciting. I can't wait to get my shirt. I've never been so excited about a conference shirt. I have gone to 1,800 conferences, and like this is the one that I will wear even after the conference is over. I will wear it the minute it comes in the mail. I will wear it till it'll be one of the shirts that I have for a decade at least. It's going to be one of those that it'll be vintage before it goes in the trash.
Oh, for sure. And I was thinking the other day, Colleen, because Colleen was working with OXDX on the distribution and all this. I was thinking, oh man, we should have got like some early shirts so we could all have some ourselves. We've got a question from Leah in the chat. What is she saying? Information to be sponsored or help with being funded to go to the conference. So you want more information, Leah, and we're going to give it to you. Please go to Indian-affairs.org /7th annual conference, at 7th with the number 7, 7th annual conference, to get to our website and our repatriation conference page. In there, you can see how to register, the sponsorships that are available, how you can be a vendor or an exhibitor, how you can apply for a scholarship for registration costs, and how to get the shirt. Should I say that again? Here, let me put that in the chat.
I got you, Shannon. I already put it in there for you. Yep.
Excellent. Thank you. Make sure that you put it on, you send it to all instead of just Facebook.
It's on YouTube as well.
Okay, good. Oh, so, well, I double did it.
We can fix that.
Teamwork.
Teamwork. Double doing it. Okay. Question. What else do we need to announce about the association before we can let our wonderful chat room and folks that are watching us from Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube go? We hope to see you there too, Leah. Leah's chatting with us from Facebook. Apply for our scholarship.
I would also say I would encourage everyone to share the opportunity to become a member of the association and be a part of our family and help build out our 100 years. Like, we're going into 100 years. No other organization gets to say that they're going into 100 years. Like, to be a part of that right now and to join when we're going into this Everything Back movement. And, you know, we're spearheading the repatriation efforts across Turtle Island. Like, this is the coolest time to come in. I know I've been here a month and a half, but the things that I've already got to see, like, we're working with a cool organization that's rebranding us, and to be a part of the new look of what the association is going to look like. That's another, like, it's just the best time to get involved. We've got a lot of voices being heard across Turtle Island, and to join that and to be a part of change, like, this is the place to do it at.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Also want to let you know, if you are interested in ever working for or with the Association on American Indian Affairs, We do have internships available. Internships, all that means is that you're working for us for free. And if you have any special skills, especially if you're really into producing like social media graphics and you like doing graphics, we would love to have you as an intern to give some help to Kim in the work that she does.
Yes,
So if you want to work with Kim, please let us know. You can reach out to the association at general@indian-affairs.org. That's our email address that you can also find on our website, indian-affairs.org. We're also looking for an office manager. So if you like to do administrative stuff and talk to interesting people on the phone, like people who are like, where's my Indian money? And which DNA test should I take so I can be Indian? Then this job is for you. No, I'm
There's
kidding.
cooler things that happen too in that position.
There's tons of cooler things, but that's just fun. Some of the fun that our office manager gets to have as part of their duties, making sure that we're all running well and that our virtual office is a fun and healthy environment, right? Anything else going on?
Surprise packages.
What's that?
Said you'll get random surprise packages.
Surprise packages. You'll get a free shirt. Oh, look. And you even put the logo on the back of my card. You really did your public affairs outreach graphics on this card that you made. That's cool. Yeah, so be a part of the association any way that you damn can.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else y'all want to hang out while I give the closing thanks?
No,
And
again,
we'll get out of here.
Thank you, Shannon and Colleen, for welcoming me to the team. I'm super excited to be here with you all. I wake up every day just completely happy because I am at that point in my life where almost everything is in balance and perfect. So thank you for shifting my focus to this incredible team.
All right.
We're glad to have you, Kim.
Yes, we're absolutely thrilled. I'm absolutely thrilled to get to hang out with you two women on almost a daily basis, and sometimes more than that. So thanks everyone for showing up this evening for another episode of Red Hoop Talk. I want to thank all of our viewers, those who are here with us live, in the chat room saying hello. Hi, good night, JD. Nice to see you again. And those of you who will be new listeners on our podcast, we're not quite sure when the first one, when this is going to be released, but we're hoping we can get it out next week, and we'll let you know about it. So watch our social media. I want to thank my guests for staying late at work tonight, Colleen and Kim, and sharing information about sharing the loves of your life, your grandmothers and other special people that are important to you. I want to thank our ancestors and our future ancestors, and also remind all of our current ancestors to please subscribe to us on YouTube to help us monetize our YouTube channel to support our programs. So we'll see you on the next Red Hoop Talk, and remember that you are sacred and together we make a difference. And I've got to do this closing thing, and I don't think I set up. So wait around. Well, it's not that exciting. But